Oops, sorry there. Yeah, you caught me at a pretty good time actually. Just so you know, today was the day I went outside, I touched some grass, and I voted. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just do the whole thing like this. It's fine. All right. Yeah. So today I went out to vote. Honestly, I don't think I was supposed to vote because it started hailing and raining by the time I got to the polling station. But as you know it, I came up with a sticker. I got it. I went to vote. But that was real life. And honestly, if I'm being totally real with you, I could have been doing something even better. I could have been in VR. That's right, virtual reality. Not the one that Zuck is in, where he's making his little Paris and Eiffel Tower stuff in there. But I'm talking about the one where it could kill you. That's right. We're getting to that point, guys. So what I'm talking about here now is, as I was scrolling Twitter, I managed to see this article that came up. It was about Palmer Luckey. So Palmer Luckey, if you don't know him, I didn't quite know him either, but he was the original creator of Oculus Rift, the big VR headset that's supposed to be like the most affordable one currently, the one that Meta has bought off of Palmer Luckey. And so he's been writing in his blog recently, and turns out he has made a VR headset that could kill you if you lose in a game once. Just like as you might die in a game, you should die in real life. That's how games are supposed to be played, of course. But I'm joking, of course. So this concept was based off of Sword Art Online, as Palmer Luckey states it. It seems like he's a really big fan, and in the blog, we'll see that he actually talks about that Sword Art Online was a really big like glow up for his sales during the Oculus Rift when it first came out. And I'm not gonna lie, I personally watched Sword Art Online. It wasn't my favorite anime. Honestly, I really freaking hate that anime. It's so annoying. I'm sorry. If you like Sword Art Online, I'd like to deeply apologize to you. Mostly because you like Sword Art Online. If you like Sword Art Online, it is what it is. Personally, it just wasn't my thing. Let's go ahead and go over to Palmer Luckey. Let's see what he's like going on about. And let's see if we can see anything about the actual VR headset too. So let me go ahead and switch here. Boink. So let's start off with his tweet. So Palmer Luckey, he's on Twitter, and he tweeted out this: the concept of video games with physical consequences as severe as death are a sci-fi staple, but seen as a beyond the pale in real life. Given the popularity of motorsports, extreme athletics, etc., why? And here's the thing. So you can enjoy motorsports and extreme athletics. Like, sure, there's a chance that you could get severely injured, but you're not going into it expecting to die. There's a big difference there. With video games, you're usually trying to just escape and go into another world. In this case, you're going to the afterlife. That's the other world you're going to if you lose the game once. So you don't really get that much replayability out of it, and it's not the same as with extreme athletics or motorsports because they don't expect to die. If you're going into a VR headset, you know that there is an extreme possibility you could die, because if you do lose, you literally die. And with motorsports and extreme athletics, there is always a chance where if you do get into like a serious accident or something, you could get out scot-free. You could be fine. No scathes, no nothing. And that's what separates these motorsports and extreme athletics to video games with physical consequences. And I'm sure there's way different ways you can actually approach this other than just being straight up shot to death with whatever the VR headset's using to kill you. And let's go ahead and see how he's actually doing it, though. Because honestly, as stupid as the idea is, the tech behind it is actually pretty cool. And as stupid as I think the idea is too, and I don't believe that his analogy between athletics and motorsports being like really dangerous should really apply to video games, to be honest with you. Like, I would prefer maybe like some haptic feedback. That would be really cool. But I don't know about the haptic feedback of death and getting sent to the afterlife like that. That's not my thing. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to die here. But yeah, let's go to his blog too. His blog, he actually wrote some good stuff. And this is where all the news articles kind of got their news about it. So let's see. So over here, he states that the good news is that we are halfway to making a true nerve gear. The bad news is that so far I have only figured out the half that kills you. The perfect VR half of the equation is still many years out. So that's a really good point too. Another reason why this idea is really stupid is because you don't even get to feel anything else. You're literally just in VR, and I'm not gonna lie, I would not want to spend my last moments in a VR game that looks like Horizon Worlds. Like, right? Is there anyone that wants to be in the metaverse with Zuck like that? And then that be their final moments? I don't think there really is. Mostly because it's just not up to par of what you imagine like a Sword Art Online clone to be. Like, it's like he said right there, the perfect half of VR, it's still many years out. And honestly, if you want to make a VR headset that kills people, that's the way to do it. It's when you can actually like feel everything and you can get your own stamina into the game and all that stuff. But yeah, so let's find out how he actually uses the VR headset to kill someone. So he says in Sword Art Online, as I said earlier, that was his big inspiration and stuff. So he says, the nerve gear contained a microwave emitter that could be overdriven to lethal levels, something the creator of SAO and Nerve Gear itself was able to hide from its employees, regulators, and contract manufacturers. I feel like that'd be found really fast, especially because people like to tear down their items. Like, believe it or not, you will find tear down items on day one releases as fast as my dad can slap me when I get a C on my report card. And trust me, he's quick on the draw. It's a little rough. But yeah, continuing on. He states that I'm a pretty smart guy, but I couldn't come up with a way to make everything like this work, not without attaching the headset to gigantic pieces of equipment. In lieu of this, I used 3 explosive charge modules I usually use for a different project, tying them to a narrow band photo sensor that can detect when the screen flashes red at a specific frequency, making the game over trigger integration on the part of the developer very easy. When an appropriate game over screen is displayed, the charges fire and instantly destroying the brain of the user. Now, we can talk about how this is really stupid, because it means if there's any flash of red on the screen from any part of the video game, it doesn't even have to be like the game over screen. It could literally be a flash of red because it says it's just a narrow band photo sensor. So maybe it doesn't look for like the blood splatters, because it could be a different frequency of red. But if that little bit of red is even used at all in the game and the photo sensor senses it, your brain's going boom, just like my love life after I failed to, satisfy past 11 seconds. It's just how it is sometimes, guys. All right? It happens to all of us. Don't you dare judge me. Stop. And so, I don't know about you guys, but I think even like if I was like on the brink of death, like I had stage 4 terminal cancer or something, this isn't the way I would want to go. Like, hey, look, I'm in Minecraft VR and I get blown up by a creeper from the back and all of a sudden, boop, that's how I go. It's like, maybe it'd be cool if like, instead of like the explosive devices, they had like some injectors where if like say like you're falling in Minecraft, maybe from like a 256 like height block little cliff that you made and you're just flying down, maybe you could get a little bit of sensation in your face and then slowly like get euthanized, okay, we're getting into some deep stuff at this point, but my point is that I'm not trying to die in some like gross 3D world that looks kind of like ass, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather just go somewhere in real life and try and explore it that way. It's just not like feasible, because if someone does die, it's like that person's blood is on your hands and stuff, and it's just not worth it at that point where you're losing lives over a dumb video game. And with athletics, at the very least, you get some glory, you get to feel good, and there's always the chance that you don't die. And that chance is really bigger than the chance that you could die than it would be for, say, for example, for this game, where if you put a headset on and you do die in game, that's where you actually do die. Like, maybe what if they connected it to like some League of Legends tournament, and all of a sudden, hey, the enemy team just got Baron and then one shot you all and destroyed your Nexus. You just automatically die then. Do you really want to die with your last game being League of Legends? Because I know I don't. I do not want to be a League of Legends player at the very end. At least let me play something beautiful like Deus Ex Human Revolution or or God of War Ragnarok. Now, he states that it's not the perfect system as well. And he says he has a plan for an anti-temper mechanism that, like with Nerve Gear, will make it impossible to remove or destroy the headset. So even so, there are a huge variety of failures that could occur and kill the user at the wrong time. This is why I have not worked up the balls to actually use it myself, and also why I'm convinced that, like in Sword Art Online, the final triggering should really be tied to a high intelligence agent that can readily determine if conditions for determination are actually correct. So now, see, I'm really glad that Palmer Luckey here has had the brain to not actually put this VR headset on, because it will literally kill him, and that brain matter that is so useful for us right now, because it's way better for him to just continue creating new stuff than for him to be in a Smucker's jelly jar and be used as jam possibly by some like scavenger animal. I'm sure there's some scavenger animal out there that enjoys Smucker's jelly, and if you're like an animal person, let me know, because I really want to know what animal enjoys Smucker's jelly, and I'll start using that for my analogies too, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, so with the anti-temper mechanism too, like we're seemingly still far away from perfecting this system, and hopefully, I'm not gonna lie to you, I hope it never gets completed, because it's just not worth it for anyone to be wearing this to just accidentally die because of a stupid video game. Like, your life is gonna be worth more than that no matter what. And the analogy with the extreme sports and the athletics, it's really not on par with this, because like I said earlier, you're supposed to go into it not assuming you're gonna die, and like you can expect sometimes to maybe take an accident, but you're just not there to die, right, guys? That's the whole point of it. So that analogy, I think, is kind of off by Palmer Luckey. But other than that, I think he's just doing this for science, and if that's the point, go right ahead. But I really don't think this should be a technology that needs to be created, because I don't think anyone really wanted to ask for it either. And even in Sword Art Online, it wasn't that cool. I'm sorry. In the anime, like, sure, they got out and maybe they loved their life a little bit more, but they also were depressed and weirded out, and they also lost friends. So not the best trade-off. And also in Sword Art Online too, they didn't really even consent to be put into that VR headset where they could literally die when they play. So, you know, it's just not the nicest thing to do to people too. So yeah, essentially, Palmer states that, hey, at this point, it is just a piece of office art, a thought-provoking reminder of unexplored avenues in game design. And honestly, this clearly isn't the game design that people want. On the other hand, though, with Sword Art Online, the other half of the equation where it doesn't kill people, that's pretty cool. And hopefully we can get Palmer Luckey, or like some company, hopefully not Meta, because it's looking like Meta might be the only company that is really kind of pushing VR. And quite frankly, if it comes to having to decide between dying in a VR game and you only have one chance at it, and living in Horizon Worlds, listen, I'm taking my chances with Horizon Worlds. No matter how death-defying I could be, or how cool it might be to kind of go into a game like that, I'd prefer to see the fake Eiffel Towers, all right? I'm trying to go to France for reals, but in-game, where Zuck can monitor me and take all my data. And that's about the end of it. I just wanted to bring this up because it, in all honesty, it is still really a cool piece of tech, and I could really see this going somewhere. Well, not the death part, but the other part with VR. And hopefully, instead of like unexplored avenues in game design, where they go towards death, they can go a little more towards realism. And so yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about the VR stuff, or how they can make it better, or if, you know, this should even be explored, to be honest with you, leave it down in the comment section below if you got any ideas. So yeah, hey, if you guys liked what you saw, drop a like. If you guys disliked it, drop a dislike, and subscribe if you want some more. Hopefully you guys went out to go vote, and if you didn't, it's okay. You can go next election day, and On that note, peace out. I'm gonna go wait for God of War.